Warning! Methanol is highly flammable and toxic. Sulfuric acid is highly corrosive and can burn your skin. The experiment should be performed in a well-ventilated area. Gloves, goggles, and lab coat are absolutely mandatory. In a previous video, we made salicylic acid starting from aspirin. Today we will synthesize methyl salicylate, also known as oil of wintergreen, which has a pretty strong odor resembling that of mint. Materials and reagents required: 2.5 grams of salicylic acid, 2 milliliters of concentrated sulfuric acid, 25 milliliters of dry methanol. First, the salicylic acid is placed on an Erlenmeyer flask, in addition to a magnetic stirring bar. Then, the methanol is poured into the flask. Finally, the sulfuric acid is added dropwise under strong stirring. The role of the acid is to serve as a catalyst for the esterification reaction to work. Alternatively, phosphoric acid could be used. Other acids such as nitric acid or hydrochloric acid should be avoided as they can produce undesired side reactions. Then, a reflux condenser is attached. The system is then heated while stirring. After a while the methanol starts to reflux. The system is let under reflux for at least 1 hour and a half. Please notice that this must be done in a fume hood or in a well-ventilated area, as methanol is pretty toxic. The reaction taking place is a common acid-catalyzed Fischer esterification reaction between a carboxylic acid and an alcohol. The acid provides hydronium species to the medium, which are able to activate the carbonyl bond of the carboxylic acid, which overall increases the positive partial charge at the carbon center and so favors the attack of the alcohol, which is working as a mild nucleophile. After 1 hour and a half, the reaction is stopped and it is allowed to cool down to room temperature. Once the reaction is finished, we are left with a crude mixture containing methanol, unreacted salicylic acid, sulfuric acid, and our product. To isolate your product from the rest of the impurities, we will add some cold water. As you can see, upon the addition of water to the reaction mixture, an oily liquid appears at the bottom. This is our product, which is extremely insoluble in water. The solution is then transferred to a separatory funnel. The bottom layer is collected in a clean beaker. The residual amount of product left in the aqueous layer is recovered by performing 3 consecutive extractions with 10 ml of ethyl acetate each. The organic layers are collected together and are washed with a 1 molar sodium hydroxide solution. This is to remove any trace of salicylic acid co-extracted within the organic phase. Finally, the organic layer is washed with brine to remove any residual salts left. The ethyl acetate solution is dried with anhydrous magnesium sulfate to remove any traces of water. The system is finally filtered and the solvent is removed by flushing air through it. In the meantime, some acid is added to the aqueous phase. As you can see, as soon as the medium gets acidic, a white suspension appears corresponding to unreacted salicylic acid, which can be recovered by filtration. At the end, I obtained 1.8 grams of reasonably pure product. Finally, I want to test the product obtained with my homemade Raman spectrometer. Raman spectroscopy is a very useful tool for the identification of functional groups in a sample. It is based on the inelastic scattering of photons when interacting with a sample. Anyway, I will make a detailed video on Raman spectroscopy, so don't worry too much about the details involved. The sample is placed on the sample holder. Then the laser is turned on. The raw Raman spectrum looks like this. Now let's get focused on the useful Raman shift region. After baseline correction, this is the final spectrum obtained. The spectrum obtained shows some characteristic bands, which indicate the presence of carbon-carbon aliphatic chains, an aromatic system, an ester group and methyl groups, in addition to some unexpected bands that might be either noise or some impurity left in the final product. Thanks for watching.